Let's begin in Austin there and the second special legislative session. It was supposed to end tonight, but state lawmakers wrapped it early last Thursday. Our first guest is the Speaker of the Texas House, Republican Dade Phelan from Beaumont, and we interviewed him from his office behind the House chamber there just before the gavel fell last week. Mr. Speaker, it's good to see you. Thanks for making time for us. Let's start with this final day here of the second special session. Republicans finally got their biggest priorities passed. Is there anything of the governor's 17 items that will not get passed?
First of all, Jason, thank you for having me on. There are some items on there that I don't think we had time to get to. Very late in this special, there was a charge issue dealing with mask mandates, both prohibiting masks and allowing masks in schools. We just had that hearing, a very long hearing on Monday night, and it's just with the session wrapping up in the coming hours and days, I don't think there was consensus on that particular charge. There's some other items that, may not get to the finish line, but for the most part of the 17, I expect them to land on the governor's desk in the coming hours.
How soon do you expect a third special session for redistricting to actually happen?
We have to have time to digest the data and look at our communities and decide for ourselves what we want our maps to look like. You have to understand that some districts, House districts, have surged in population, and some have rapidly declined in population. So you have to go out and look at new cities and counties to add to your district, and there are rules to that, to what you can and can't take in, and what communities can be split or not split up, what counties can be split up or not split up. There's rules to that. So as members understand, the 150 of us understand what those rules are. Many of us have never gone through redistricting.
The census data, as you know, Mr. Speaker, shows that a lot of the population growth across the state was around large cities, which are Democratic. Do you expect that one of the two new congressional seats might be Republican, or both might be Republican, or will both of those go to the Democrats?
It's a good question. I'd have to look at the data and see where those growth areas are. I was actually kind of surprised. There are some large urban areas that did lose population, and that growth was actually in the suburbs. And so we'll have to take a look at and see where the data points are. I know, I've been intensely focused on my own area, which is in Southeast Texas, which is rural. And I lost a little bit of population, but there are some folks around me who've lost a lot of population. And so I have to take that into consideration, the whole area and what we've lost over the last 10 years. And a lot of that is the migration to the suburbs and the urban areas. And so as we'll gain 2 new seats, and we'll figure out where they are, but I'm certain they'll be in obviously the larger populated areas here in the state of Texas. I
want to ask about COVID in the classroom. You probably know, because this first little story is happening in Southeast Texas near Beaumont. An 11-year-old girl outside Beaumont in the hospital now on a ventilator. She's with COVID. Another school district, which is just outside of Waco, had 2 teachers die from COVID. What's your message to Texas parents and some faculty members who are concerned and think that the state leaders are endangering Texas children who are not yet eligible for the vaccine?
I think we're in the last spike. If you look at these pandemics, it seems like you have these 3 spikes, and hopefully, God willing, this is the last spike we're going to see of COVID. And as the vaccine is approved for younger and younger children, I think we'll, just like the flu vaccine, I think we'll see it, be administered for grade school children, and we'll see fewer and fewer of these instances. But again, I think it is imperative upon the parents to decide what's best for their child, and there's no harm or shame in wearing a mask if that's what your child needs to do, and that's what you want your child to do.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the time.
Yeah, I appreciate it.